Free Period is a podcast of First Baptist Watauga Student Ministry. For more information about First Baptist Watauga, you can check us out at fbcwatauga.org. Hello and welcome to Free Period, the weekly break you want to take. I'm your host, Kevin Skinner, Associate Pastor and Student Pastor here at First Baptist Watauga. And today I'm joined by Zach Hudson, the Associate Pastor and Minister to Families at South Tulsa Baptist Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And today we're going to be answering the question, or really you are,
okay,
what's up with Zach these days? But before we get to that...
I was about to just jump in.
Yeah, he's got an answer already.
Wait.
Before we get to that, Spring Forward just took place
True.
this last weekend. Now, the way this works, listeners, we record these episodes in advance. So for you, you're listening to this several weeks after Spring Forward has taken place. We are still adjusting to Spring Forward right now as we're recording this podcast. So let me ask you.
Okay.
How are you adjusting to losing an hour of sleep?
Losing an hour of sleep. Well, as some of you may or may not know, I've got 5 kids. One of them is turning 16 months old. What is today? Today is the 10th. So tomorrow he turns 16 months old.
Wow.
I'm constantly in just always losing sleep. So
Yeah.
it really, this time around right now, doesn't
It has not affected you
it
at
doesn't
all.
seem different at all. I mean,
Wow.
to the kids, I can tell a difference. But for me, I'm like, it's just life.
It's hard to believe that he's already 16 months old.
I know.
That's crazy, because that means that y'all left more than 16 months ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Charlie was still pregnant whenever
she
y'all
was,
left.
yeah. We left 18 months ago. He was born 2 months after we moved.
Wow.
So
18 months. It's been a full year and a half.
it has.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
That's crazy. So speaking of Spring Forward, last year, even though we weren't working together anymore, we still tried to collaborate.
Oh, yeah.
And so we came up with an idea to try and get something to go viral, a trend,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
to get people to put
Yes.
their profile pictures upside down.
Yeah.
I
I think it was me and you, and it seems like I had
else
somebody
did it-
else out there, but
Yeah, I can't remember.
I was thinking for sure, hey, this could really get going.
Yeah, I really thought. And so as we were chatting, I remember we were talking early in the morning. I think I was still in bed, and I said, in order for this to work, we have to tie it to something that people care about.
Yes.
And we thought people really cared about losing an hour of
know.
sleep.
I thought it would work.
No.
Yeah, because I hear more people say how much they dislike daylight savings time
Right.
versus how much they just enjoy losing an hour or gaining an hour and trying to adjust
Right.
to what's going on.
Right.
So,
It did not work, though. Only
No,
a few
it didn't.
people joined in,
No.
but we gave it our best.
we did. We have many videos like that
Yep.
we just were like, hey, this is going
I
to be the
know.
one. I think, what was your most surprising video that didn't go viral? I think mine is Let Me See the Christmas Tree.
Yes.
I just figured that one would
Right.
find its niche somewhere.
Yep.
It's probably going to when we're like in our 80s. Something weird's going to happen with that video.
Yeah,
since
I mean,
it's out there.
that one was such a fun one and so goofy. I mean, it kind of reminds me of something that you might see on Saturday Night Live or
Yeah.
something like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Just kind
definitely.
of our facial expressions and everything as we sang that song.
Yeah.
And, man, and we really tried. We shared that multiple times.
We
it
do,
just
and every
never
year
went
we
anywhere.
we just keep at it. Yeah.
It's time. It's time
Yeah.
for this one to blow up.
So, but Joy to the World, our punk version, I think is finally
Yeah.
getting a little bit of traction. It's going to
Hey,
take
all
off.
right.
So, anyway, got off
So
on
what
those.
what did you
It's like shameless plug for
Yeah.
our other videos.
what did you send me the other day? What song did go viral recently?
Oh, it was Walking in the Light.
Yes, Walking
That
in the
took
Light of
over
God.
You're My Brother, You're My
Yes.
Friend. I was very
And
surprised.
yeah,
So.
You're My Brother, You're My Friend was our most viewed video on our church's YouTube channel for
Yeah.
years. And then, recently, Walking in the Light of God has taken over like 65,000
I know. Yeah, it
views,
got up there,
something like
so.
that. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's get to our question
Okay.
then. What's up with Zach these days? And I want to break this question up into segments.
Okay.
So first, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what you do in your current position at South Tulsa Baptist Church? Now, if you don't know, maybe you're a new student in the student ministry. Zach used to be the student minister here at First Baptist Watauga and the worship leader here at First
Yes.
Baptist Watauga for many, many years.
And
the children's
Children's
pastor
pastor, I was
even
gonna say.
before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it all.
I know, and Dennis stayed, so I just
Right.
could never try to become pastor. So I was like, well,
That's right.
You know, I mean, that was the only place I didn't get to, or young adult. I guess that's what Nathan is.
Yep,
That-
that's what Nathan,
that position. You had that as well,
Nathan
too.
is now, yeah. So Zach left 18 months ago to go to South Tulsa Baptist Church, and so tell us all a little bit about that position.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be glad to. I am the associate pastor and family minister, so I'm kind of like a staff pastor, so it's a little bigger church, and so I have to kind of help manage and take care of our student and children and preschool ministers and just coordinate and do a lot of things with them, and also our senior adult minister as well. We kind of work together to plan events, and I just kind of make sure things are going well for them, and if they've got any issues, then I kind of help take care of those things. A lot of that's just to kind of help Eric and keep things off our senior pastor and his, kind of help his load a little as well. And then, of course, anything that he might need from me, I kind of help him out with as well. So it's
Awesome.
going good. We really enjoy it. We have a great team that I'm working with. So
Yeah.
definitely miss you all as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. We definitely miss you here. I miss you. And then, of course, I know many of the students still miss seeing you every week. So I know that over this last year especially, you've been able to go on a few different mission trips. So what were some of those experiences like? Where were the places that you went to?
Let's see. Yeah, that's been a really neat difference, because when I was here in Watauga, I was actually very scared to think about those trips. I know our pastor had gone to India and some other places, and for whatever reason in those moments I just thought, that seems... I don't know. I didn't ever feel like I wanted to leave home. And then as God led us to this new church in Tulsa, I really began to feel more open to taking trips and doing those kinds of things. So I had an opportunity to go to Jordan over last summer and spend some time up in northern Jordan and working and getting to meet some of the Syrian refugees that had to come down from their country because of war, and just kind of get to meet those families and those situations. Very, very tough, very sad, but some great opportunities to work alongside of the different churches and ministries in those areas. So that was a lot of fun. And then this past January, I got to go to Thailand, and we've got several people that work in that area, especially in the Southeast Asia region. And so we got to do some training and work with some of our people that are out in those areas, and just get to see Thailand and kind of pray over that area. But just such a great country, and made it home just in time to miss the coronavirus.
What about impactful moments on any of those mission trips? Are there any moments in either of those mission trips that just stand out to you?
Yeah, I think probably some of the hardest, especially being in a country like Jordan, as you would know, is predominantly a Muslim culture and country. And so sometimes that's overwhelming to think of just, the people there. And at first, honestly, I was very scared, and it was very wonderful to see just how open and loving and welcoming that culture was. Even knowing me as a Christian and from America, I'd always been taught, people in those countries, hate us and think we're horrible and we're the great Satan and all these things. And so I had a little bit of a nervousness going into some of those places, and then was just, overwhelmed with, hospitality and loving kindness. And it really reminded me of, that's how I need to be. I need to be someone that's loving and open and not buying into, hype is everywhere, whether it's coronavirus, whether it's a different culture or a different religion. And, God's called us to love one another and to, not be afraid of those places that God may call us to go and reach out and try to help. So anyway, so those were some things that were very impactful. And you see that same kind of thing in Thailand, where just different culture, different belief systems. And, and it was just I just experienced a lot of brokenness for people there, wanting them to know what I know, and knowing that there's just a lot of work to be done in some of those areas. So, but I left very hopeful and very thankful that I know what I know, and very hopeful that God will open up some doors and avenues to work in those cultures as well. So.
Awesome. Well, some of the things that I'm picking up on is you kind of went in with some fears, but you left with hope.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times, we let our fears cripple us, whether we're talking about fears at home, fears with sharing the gospel at schools. I know students, many times that may be what you're scared of, right? To simply share your faith with your friends at school. And a lot of times we just let our fears cripple us.
Yeah, definitely.
But what we find out is when we simply walk in obedience to Christ, when we do what He's called us to do and overcome those fears, we find that there's hope in the Lord, hope for people. And so, students, I hope that as you hear Zach's testimony about going to these, foreign countries, right? Going
different.
very outside of his comfort zone, and overcoming those fears, just I hope you sense that hope, and maybe you'll be encouraged to share your faith, not with even people overseas, but maybe people across the aisle, across the desk,
That's right.
One desk over.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what I've been telling my kids too is, if God calls you to do something, just, go for it and don't look back. If you know for sure that he's calling you to maybe go somewhere to talk with somebody, definitely don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Find the hope that you can have in walking with him. But yeah,
Right.
That's good. Such a good reminder.
And even with you leaving here after being at First Baptist
man,
Watauga
that was hard, yes.
for 12 years, was it?
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years.
We were about to make 12 years. I think December would have been 12, but we left right before that. But.
And then, taking your whole family up to Tulsa and starting over kind of in a new position. There's definitely some fears that could be there, but everything that God has been able to do in you, do through you, simply because you walked in obedience.
Yes.
Obedience is the key.
It is.
So, all right. Well, what about your family? What's your family up to these days?
Well, as I said, we have 5 kids. When we were making the move, we only had 4. So we had Nathan, our lone Oklahoman, or Okie as we call them, was born in Tulsa, and all my other kids born in Grapevine. So, and actually my son Andrew, he came down just a few days ago, so he got to fly on his own for the first time. So that was kind of a different experience for me to drop him off at the airport and walk to the gate with him and just kind of see him take off and think, man, this guy's getting older.
Yeah, he's growing up.
So, and then of course, Charlie and I are just busy going to practices and church and, sports and games. And so it's just it's a fun life, but we always joke about, then there's just taking care of a house with a lot of people, just constant work. Sometimes we'll get home and just for hours we'll be doing laundry, helping with homework, getting meals ready, getting cleaned up, and it's like, oh, bedtime! Yay! Wow, I got home 4 hours ago and I haven't sat down. So
the nonstop life.
Yes, but I wouldn't change it. It's very blessed to do what we do for sure.
Awesome, and I'm glad that you in the midst of your busyness, you had time to come up here to film this, record this podcast for us today.
Yeah, love Watauga. Anything I can do to have some fun with you guys. As always, we'll take.
So before we wrap things up, just any final thoughts you want to give to the student ministry or to our listeners out there?
Yeah, definitely. I'd just like to encourage you all. One of my favorite books of the Bible is Proverbs, and I know that was one of the books I got to walk through with you all before I left. And so I just encourage people, because we have people that, are they're not sure what to do with the Bible. Some of them try to say, well, it's an old book and it's just not valuable and it's, it doesn't fit into our times today. But if you take a book like Proverbs and you really truly read through it, there's just some beautiful wisdom literature. One of the Proverbs I always is close to my heart is choose a good name over wealth. And I think if we say the Bible is outdated or isn't valuable, I take just even a little snippet like that and go, no, there's so much wisdom and so much advice for godly living or righteous living that we would be foolish, as even Proverbs would tell you, to throw out God, to throw out his word. And so my encouragement to you all is to, stay close and connected to God's word and stay close to him through that and encourage others. You might be encouraged to, or someone might try to discourage you from walking with God or to walk away from him. But I'd say, don't do it. There's a lot of great wisdom to be learned inside his word, and then also just walking with one another. So,
absolutely. Well, thanks, Zach, for being here today. Yeah. I appreciate it. That's it for this week's episode of Free Period. Join us again next week. I'll be back with Nathan, and we'll be answering the question, what is your favorite childhood memory? Bye.
Bye.
I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast, and I'd love to meet you in person. If you're a student between 7th and 12th grade, you can join us on Wednesday nights for midweek at First Baptist Watauga. You can also join us on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. for growth groups and 10:50 a.m. for worship.